close up. I'm just trying to fix the tail skid. The problem is I can't cut away the film on here. It'll pull away. So what I've done is loads of little pinprick holes. I'll just finish off here in a minute. And I've fitted 3 carbon 2mm carbon spars which will fit in these bigger holes here, and hopefully I can epoxy it on without making too much of a mess, and it makes a good job, but we'll see. Worth putting this tail skid on because it's going to act a bit as a sub fin. Let's just offer this in, make sure it's going to fit. Right, okay, well that's quite nice. Always pull tape back on itself like that, else you're in danger of pulling up the edge of paint or whatever, or even the edge of the film. Anything, it's always a good habit. Okay, there we are. Let's have a look at it. It's got style, that's for sure. So my plan is this. I'm going to mix up some epoxy and I'm going to glue the tail in position, and then I can make up blocks to sit inside. I've got the block on the top to glue in. I'm going to use these actually epoxy tubes to sort of get it in the same place both sides, measure it, and that will support it. Nice and easy. So we've got 10 3/8 and 10 3/8. Okay, top view looks good. Just installing the servos in the wings. They're nothing special, just full-size servos actually. I figured the wing could take the weight. Servo, because there's not a lot of space in here. There's a bit of space on the front. I'm trying to push most of the cable. I glued the ailerons on earlier on. I used plenty of Vaseline in the hinge, which works fantastically. Good. So aileron throw wise, I've got more up than down at the moment, but they're free enough. So I don't know if the servos are centered yet, so I'll just have to wait for a minute. Then I'll make up some simple push rods. Let me show you what I've done with the, it feels a bit heavier now, surprising isn't it? Put a couple of servos in. I'll show you what I've done with the fuselage. Servos connected up. You don't actually see the push rods running down, or the outers running down the fuselage. There's so many sort of stringers. And then out through the back end there, I made up a little block. I put a couple of grooves in it, just CA'd them on, roughed them up, CA'd them on. They're very, very smooth to operate. Okay, there we are so far, looking nice. But I really must think about the undercarriage. So I've got the wire. I've just redesigned the fairings for the undercarriage legs. So I've just drawn them up on the computer and cut them out on the jigsaw. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to stitch them onto the undercarriage legs, glue them and stick them, glue them and stitch them. It worked quite well before, so I've continued the theme, the method. Right, let's get stitching and it'll hold it. That's the theory. In fact, if I take it around there a couple of times, like that, and back through the hole I started in. like that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to work my way down and then work my way back, crisscrossing it as I go. One more time. That's it. Now, what I'm going to do is to flood some CA on that, and that will hold it all in place. And I'm going to move my head back a little bit because it's going to start fuming rather badly. There's one done. Quite simple, quite rigid. Okay, I'll do the other one, and then while that's drying, I'll go and find some wheels. Cheers, guys. Right, sweet bit of progress here, guys. I've mounted the ESC. I've changed it from the one I had because this one's got a nice long lead on it. I've fitted the receiver right on the rear wall, as Tim the plane man suggested, so I might fly this one on 4S. So this battery is going to go in there. One of the things that I wanted to do was make sure I had an outlet for the air intakes, because there's no point in having air intakes if you can't get the air out the other side, and this battery pretty much fills that area up, so I might have to rethink how I'm going to get the air out. I just had a thought, actually. I could probably cut a hole in the bottom. That's not a bad idea. Then the air will come in the top and straight out the bottom, because this back side is open, but if the air can't get from here to there, then I need another exit. So yeah, maybe a hole at the bottom just to let the air out, a sort of a slot. That would work. I've also stitched on, as you can see, I was fitting them earlier on, finished the fairings. It's amazing how tight they are. So they look great with the stitching as well. I think you'll like that, Adam, being a bit old school like me. I've just got a Y lead here for the minute, which will allow me to fix the control surfaces up. So things left to do. Ailerons, that's on the wing, so I'll worry about that in a minute. Got to cut a slot in the bottom. Might want to do that now before I build a battery box. The battery box or floor won't be full width, it'll just be the width of the battery. And actually, that's a point. If I have a long thin one, I could put a slot either side. That's not a bad idea. I'll do that. All I need to do is to accurately measure, mark that, Dremel out a couple of slots, about probably the length of my finger really. So I'm just going to go outside and I'm going to take the Dremel out and I'm going to use these two bits and see what I get. And I'll be back in a minute, hopefully, with two lovely slots. Went down there, a couple of crisscrosses, one there, took it out and then just use the sanding part just to clean it up, make it round. So hurrah for the Dremel. Okay, I'll pop that in there. And like that. Right, that's the undercarriage refitted. Yeah, so I'll leave that back dowel out for a minute while I'm still working on the receiver. I need to get a pair of extension leads to replace the Y lead here because I want the aileron servos to be adjustable separately. But yeah, that's pretty much the fuselage built. I think next I'll play with the aileron control setup, find out what I've got linkage wise and start looking at connecting the servos to the ailerons. So just for the minute, guys, that's the fuselage nearly built. Have a peep at the join button down below if you'd like to support the channel to buy more bits and pieces, balsa wood and bits, to see more of these beauties. Cheers, guys. Just made sure the aileron servos were centered before I start connecting them up. And while I was at it, I've just been playing with the ruddervators. So I've got elevator and rudder. Show you the back end. Right rudder is that, The way you can tell with a V-tail, you stand it up on its, put that in there a minute, stand it up on its side, and right rudder would look like that, wouldn't it? And left rudder would look like that if this was the fin. And likewise with the other side, right rudder, that's left, and that would be right. And then we got elevators and down. There we have it. That's the rudder and elevators fixed up. I can now go ahead and, having centered the aileron servos, go ahead and fix them up. Okay guys, just check the recording for fitting the aileron, connecting the aileron servos, and it didn't record, and I've shown you how to do one as well. So let me just recap by showing you what I've done. Nice and simple, straight run, nothing complicated, really quick to do. So the aileron servos are in and connected up. I've got to buy a couple of short extension leads so as I can adjust them properly. But yeah, getting there, not much to do now. Pilot to make, prop to balance and fit, and then I can run around the garden, which will be rather smart, rather good fun. I have got another plane to start any day now. I'll tell you all about that one when the time comes. Channel members know what it is already. Channel subscribers will find out pretty soon. Okay guys, cheers. Hi guys, just done a live stream, and I asked those present if they thought it was a good idea to have Da Vinci Flyer on the wing, and the consensus was it was a good idea. So I was in two minds. So all I've got is that's suitable really is black on the light green. I think it'll look all right. This is how I do it. Okay, I'll just show you the start. And so I printed out the size I want, stick down the film that I'm going to use. This is iron-on film more than sticky back. Sticky back would have been better, probably easier, but I don't know. So, and then I just cut down the letters. I haven't got a letter machine, so get one day, but it's all expense. And this way takes a couple of hours, but maybe, but these are off now. That's enough. Yeah, I had a good live stream this morning. I was talking for over an hour with a good old chat from various parts of the world. It was great. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe and you might see notification. So there's the D, and all I would do is to take the backing off, put it in place on the wing using one of these as a master, which I've got here. It's got another copy. The other thing you can use as a master actually is if you keep this intact, like I just ripped that, but if you kept that intact, you can lay this on the wing and put the lettering back where it came, and just a little bit of heat to hold it, and then when you take it off you can put it in place. So maybe I'll do that. But what I've decided to do is to put the word Da Vinci at a jaunty angle somewhere up there, not with those glasses on now. See what we're doing. It's better. I was thinking sort of between the ribs at this sort of, well, it's a jaunty angle to the bottom, but it's not so jaunty to this spar. I was thinking sort of halfway between. So this is why we keep the original shape, because I can just tell you what might be an idea, just to tape that down like that. I think looking at the gap there, about there, I think. So I put a piece of tape there. Don't need that much there. Just bring it back a little bit. Okay, and I can just move it out of the way to heat it up. Right, we put that in there, we give it a little, use the heel. Okay, just push that out of the way again. We want to make sure we get this. It's bound to be one or two air bubbles under it, but it can't be helped. I'm just going to tap it down like that. There we are. So that's the D done. See? Actually, that's almost perfectly lined up. These little high edges I'm just pushing down. It's just that it came up with the knife. Well, I think, I'll turn it off there a minute. I think that looks rather nice. So I'm going to remove this now. That's finished with. So there's Da Vinci, and then Flyer. I screwed up the original one, but I've got a spare, so I've just cut the centre out, and I should be able to line the characters up there. It's done. How's that? I think that looks very nice. You'll like this, guys. I like this. It's a piece of scrap wood from the Fokker triplane build. Or parts of the engine, surplus parts, but it's just the right width with a little bit of sanding just to sit in there like that. That looks really purposeful and I like it. And that's going to support the profile pilot, who looks like he's hiding from me, drying somewhere. There he is. Looks like that. That will glue on there like that, and then I should be able to put my fingers in there and lift that up and out. In fact, I could slide it out, couldn't I? So if I put a couple of bars down the side, and that'll also let air out, of course. Put a couple of bars down the side. Oh, Cliff didn't show us the pilot. You'll have to wait, I'm afraid. Okay, so now our pilot can glue onto there and be easily removed. First, I want to spray this black. Bit of extra glue on this because it's end grain. That can sit in there. And in there, and then we put that in there to act as a 90 degrees. And I thought I might put some balsa down here just to strengthen the join. Okay, that'll hold our pilot in, who I haven't named yet, but you might know who it is. Wasn't that long ago that I was doing this for the DR1, little run in the garden. Now I'm going to do it for this one. This is it, and guys, she's going to wake up. Ailerons won't work because they're not plugged in. Do it again. Seems to track pretty straight. Alright, cat. Oh. Track her back up. Right, I think we need a joystick, definitely, for our pilot to hold. Oh, what fun. I love the sticker actually, it was a great idea. A good group decision. Up, right rudder, left rudder. Well, I think that's successful, guys, so we'll call that a win for tonight. And obviously the pilot's going to need a scarf, and let's just go and get a camera.